Hello and welcome to this week's track guide on the historic track of Monaco. First of all, some quick facts. The track is about 3.3 kilometers long. It has 19 turns, 19 corners, one DRS on the start-finish straight, and it's obviously known as a very historic track for F1. The tire sets that are available are the C5, C4, C3 tires, C5 being the softest tire, C3 being the hard tires, so the most grippy tire compounds that there is for the Pirelli tires. I haven't done any race simulations yet, so I can't tell you what the strategy is looking like, but you should also do a couple of laps in the wet on TT just to make sure to be prepared for everything on this track. Well, first of all I'm going to show you the hot lap, then I'm gonna just go through the hot lap, and after that I'm going to show you my setup. Then let's go ahead and start talking about the lap right now. So coming into Sainte-Devote, turn 1, an uphill braking section. You want to start braking as you pass the 50-meter board. Again, uphill braking section, stay on the brakes for as long as the hill goes up. As soon as it evens out, you want to go get off the brakes to prevent any lockups. Go about like 60 to 50, 55 to 60 brake pressure, and try to steer in very early for turn 1. You can place your left hand side wheel on the left part of this curb right here. There's a line dividing the turn 1 curb, so just place your left hand side wheel on that left part and then hold the brakes a tiny bit longer than I did right here. That resulted in me just kind of drifting a bit out too wide. Then as soon as you can, get on the power, going through the uphill section, getting to Casino now. Before you even, you want to start turning in just before this crosswalk right here. Important thing is, as you can see, I'm not stepping on the brakes yet. I'm turning in the car, like I'm turning into the corner with the car, and then I'm gonna start braking. But don't press the brakes 100% because that will slow you down too much. You need to carry a lot of speed through here, and it also makes you car understeer. I found that this year's cars, if you are in those long sweeping corners, if you press the brakes too hard, you end up understeering quite a lot. So just be very minimalistic in your brake application right here. Very difficult acceleration zone right here. As you are coming to this part where it goes up and down again, this little crest hill right here, be very careful with your brake, with your throttle application. Just stay at around 50 to 60% before this small little hill right here. Otherwise, your rear is going to step out quite hard. Then getting as close to the wall for the upcoming casino corner. Just get on the throttle a tiny bit, not too hard after you pass the crest. Then getting really close to the inside wall right there. Then letting the car carry out towards the outside. Obviously, don't hit that wall. It gives you an invalidation like 10 seconds later when you're almost at the hairpin. A very important thing is you don't want to drive straight right here. You want to drive around this little elevation change in the road just to preserve a bit more speed, and you don't shave off any. Then coming to Mirabeau, where the shenanigans already begin, you want to start braking on that white marking on the Armco barrier right there. You can already start adjusting your brake bias to like something like 55-54% to make a drift around Mirabeau possible. That gains like 1/10 or 1.5 tenths most likely. I tried to do that with 56, but I just came out a bit too wide. I understeered a tiny bit too much. Then the biggest shenanigan of them all, the Monaco hairpin. You want to start adjusting your brake bias to 53%, as it makes it pretty easy to drift the car. You can also go more rearward, so 52-51% brake bias if you want to have your rear more violent, like rotate more violently around the hairpin. I've I'm quite comfortable with 53. So what you want to do is, as soon as you are going to brake, keep your steering straight. Then your car is you need to turn it a slight bit when you're coming off the brake, just so you actually rotate around the corner. Don't Please don't hit that inside curb right here. What that does is basically beat your car. Your front tires are gonna stop on that, and your rear is just gonna rotate further and further until you are basically stuck. So try not to do that. Very smooth thing, very smooth drift right here. It's all practice basically. Just go ahead and flashback to just before Mirabeau. Try to drift Mirabeau. You don't necessarily need to drift Mirabeau, but you definitely need to drift around the Monaco hairpin. As I said, 53 brake bias. It doesn't get too violent, and it's pretty controllable. So if you play any of those rally games, Dirt Rally or something like that, then you're gonna feel right at home right here. So then coming to the second part of Mirabeau, try to carry as much speed through here you can. You should put your right hand side wheel on the orange not crosswalk, on the walk right here, and carry as much speed through. Get as close to the left hand side. Also, your rear is kind of washed through here, or like washy. So try to already counteract that rear rotation right here. Then coming to Portier, you want to take a very sweeping line. Don't hit the inside curb, that unsettles your car very much. Then, as we're coming to the exit, floor it as soon as possible. Don't be too hard on the throttle. You're going to understeer because of the on throttle differential a tiny bit. So don't accelerate too early as well. Then coming to tunnel, you want to basically take this inside part that is on cam, but you can carry a bit more speed. Don't shave off too much speed. Don't minimize the drag. Don't do any unnecessary steering applications. Then coming to the Nouvelle Chicane, you want to start braking at around 75 meters. You can, actually 80 meters, 75 meters is a bit too late, but can also work. As soon as you are in the braking zone, and as soon as you pass this orange Armco, you already want to start turning in to the right. I didn't cut, I didn't do a good cut of the Nouvelle Chicane right here. You want to have your left hand side wheel on this yellow sausage curb on that corner right there. It doesn't invalidate you. It only invalidates you if you put your car right. If you put the left hand side wheel there. So just make sure to do that. Also, be very careful on the acceleration. Don't If you cut Nouvelle Chicane right, you're not gonna get close to the wall. I just didn't do a good job of cutting it, so I came really close to the wall and almost got tagged with my left rear wheel. Then we're going to Tabak. After the 50-meter watch, you start turning in. Just a slight application of brakes. Get really close to the inside Armco barrier right there. Then, as soon as you can, put as much throttle in without hitting the outside wall. Coming to the swimming pool section, very important, don't hit that curb with your left hand side wheel. It unsettles your car immensely. You want to also, you notice how when I come to the second part of the first swimming pool chicane, Louis Chiron, I believe it is called, you already see that I want to have my steering as straight as possible for this section. The lap before I did, where I had my personal best, I just got unsettled by this curb, especially. Like, this curb has caused me some real agony. So try to keep your steering as straight as possible for this curb, especially. Then that makes pretty smooth sailing for the second part, or like the second chicane, the swimming pool chicane right here. Um, just after the arrow on the ground, I don't think you can actually see that. Uh, just start to brake, then get as close to that inside wall right there. Don't try to Leclerc it. As soon as you are almost past this Armco, you want to start turning in very violently. Again, just like the Nouvelle chicane, you want to have your right hand side wheel on this corner of the sausage curb to not invalidate. Also, try to not be too violently with the turn-in, as that can lead to your rear spinning out and hitting the wall, invalidating you in the process. Coming to Raskas, you can start braking just before the shadow right here. You need to also, it's a bit of an uphill braking zone, so you can start with a lot more brake pressure on the uphill section, but it's very easy to also lock up. So start braking just before the shadow of the advertisement board. Then don't do rapid downshifts, as that can also lead to your rear just losing the grip. And just trail brake very minimally for the second apex of Raskas. Then coming to the last corner, very easy to lose your rear right here. So maybe as you're passing the second part of Raskas, upshift to third to give you a bit more stability. Then coming to the last corner, very difficult to get your power down without spinning. Get as close to the inside wall as possible, and then you can, for stability 6, upshift to fourth on the exit right here at the cost of a bit of top speed towards or acceleration on the straight. Then open up the DRS as soon as possible. Stay as close to the right as possible for the minimum uh, distance to the finish line, and that is a lap around Monaco. Now we're going to talk about the setup. Actually, before we're going to talk about the setup, I just want to go back to the hairpin. So what you want to, like, also a tip I can give you is you want to treat this corner like it's more of a high-speed corner with regards to trail braking. So you want to start trail braking until like the middle of the corner right here to make it a bit more easier with the drift. So talking about the setup, you obviously want the highest downforce possible since it's Monaco. Transmission is 65-54, just to give you the 65%, basically to give you a bit more of a stable rear under the throttle, especially for when you get into casino. The off throttle is just so that the car rotates better through the hairpin. Suspension geometry, basically this is just a slight variation of the increased downforce setup with 1111 wings, so basically everything in the middle. You can put the front camber to the right and everything else to the left as well. I've seen esports drivers do that. Though the car is going to be really, really oversteery that way. Suspension 135116. You can make the rear more stable if you increase the rear anti-roll bar. Then brakes 156. Obviously, you saw the brake bias changes that I did. Then the tires, you can put them at 22.2 and 22.7 at the rear. You can also put them really, really low on this track. I hope you enjoyed the track guide and that you have learned something. I'm Fraser, and I hope we will see each other on the racetrack.